purchase if you can.
Well, let's try to catch this silver market. David Morgan, the Silver Report. David, how you doing? The Morgan Report.
I'm doing great, Alan. How are you?
I'm well. Okay, we've got our little breakout. You think this is the one?
I think this is it. Not as far as the next leg up in its entirety, but I think it's a breakout from the long consolidation period we had when we hit the end of April 2011, got up to 48, and then got whacked. And I think we've been, going back and forth ever since. So I do believe that base has been built. We're moving higher.
So would if you already own physical silver, would you start adding in here?
Yeah, I think you certainly add in here. I think there's no real resistance, Alan, until we hit about the $32 level. And I think we're probably going to see that here fairly shortly. And then I'm very curious to see what happens at that level. But longer term, as I've said on your show and others, I think we're going to see 35 to 40 by the end of this year. And I think 2013 we'll see both gold and silver making new nominal highs. Gold will be over 1,900 probably well into the 2000s by the end of 2013. And I expect silver to be in the 50, well above 50, probably in the 65 or higher by the end of 2013. So with that in mind, and we're still around 30, if you're willing to hold a year and 4 months or so, you're looking, in my view, at a pretty easy double in the metals. And if you're going to use the mining shares and gain some leverage, a lot of those will do 2 or 3 times as well. So instead of getting a double, you get a quadruple or perhaps even a sixfold. So there's lots of opportunity out there right now. The market's been very, very hot. Today it's cooling off very slightly. It may even be up on the day.
It's nudged back up. The ETF, let me get over here to the Kitco website, and I'll tell you that as well. The ETF SLV, it's up 0.3%, actually. And the old spot market is currently, come on now, my cursor's not. All right, come on. The spot market is up 8 cents. So $30.66.
Well, yeah, so we just keep chugging along. I called this breakout, as you know, Alan, actually called it on your show a couple of weeks ago. And then on the trading service, it's really not a trading service, let me retract that. On the look over my shoulder service where I show the trades that I do, I was on at about 28 in the spot market, and of course over 30, so you're looking at $2. So looking at well over $10,000 on a per contract basis. So, we're very happy what's going on here. And again, we thought if you were patient enough, and a lot of people aren't, that the silver market, once it starts to move, can really move.
Actually, as I recall, back in the spring, you were telling me late summer is when you thought we would break out after a period of consolidation, and we have done just that.
Yeah, it was kind of a gut feel. It was lots of things, Alan, but part of it was that the seasonalities weren't holding. So I thought August would be the move up rather than down. Normally August is the low. Well, we've got a real big move in August, as you know. So that was that. Plus the sentiment was so bad when I called the bottom in the mining equities. And as I told my paid membership, I said, look, I've been in this market all 4 decades, and normally the equities bottom before the metals bottom, and usually it's about a 2 to 3 month lag time. They bottom about May, so you got June, July, August, so that should be August again. So I put all these factors together, and I stick my neck out. That's how I make my living. I do stock picks, I do timing of the markets, I do a lot of things. And I said, this is it. I really believe strongly we're there. It's really hard for me to say 100% because no one can be right 100% of the time, and some people think I hold back too much, but if I follow my work closely, I'm wrong sometimes, but I'm right more than I'm wrong. And anybody in this business that can be right at a high percentage rate is someone that you should pay attention to. I know that sounds a bit egotistical, but go back and check the facts. And you'll find, as you know, Alan, you've been listening to me now for well over a year, been pretty accurate on these timing moves.
About a year and a half. And you know what? It's funny, though, David. Even though we've been doing this for well over a year, I'm still getting emails. How do I invest in silver? How do they invest in silver? And these are obviously coming from people who have never invested in silver. What's a good way to start out?
Well, the best way, I think, is to get in the physical market. It's the only way you can really have something that has no counterparty risk whatsoever. And I'm affiliated with a program called Silver123.net. That's Silver123.net. It's a monthly accumulation program. You can buy silver, you can buy gold, you can buy both, you can buy platinum, palladium, in fact. And you just set it up with your checking account. Comes out automatically. It's a forced saving. It's my favorite way to invest in a bull market. It's a very logical way to invest. It's a very professional way to invest. It's a dollar cost averaging methodology. I really like it. I'm involved myself, and I think it's a great way to get started.
David, you threw out a term that some people probably may not be familiar with, counterparty risk. I'm going to translate briefly, and then you can elaborate. MF Global. It's a prime example of what he's talking about.
Exactly, and it's pervasive throughout not only the futures market, but in the stock markets as well, even in the banking system. I mean, there are bank failures that happen almost weekly now, and very little's written in the mainstream press about them. But you really want some money outside of the system, and if you're going to have some money outside of the system, why not have the ultimate money that's lasted for 5,000 years? And really, that's silver more than gold, although I have nothing against gold. I think you should own both. But these are interesting times, and I like using that word because it's very polite, but think that through. I mean, look at what's really going on in the political system, what's going on in the financial system, what's going on with the foodstuffs, what's going on in all kinds of areas of our lives, and people with even just a cursory look will see that things are breaking down left and right.
Yes, and if you're not out in front of it, you're going to break down with it. Now, we've got certain people who already own physical metal. I own physical metal. I do jump in and out and play the SLV simply as a trade because I do have physical metal. I have friends in physical metal. I have my parents in physical metal, and I've been a silver bug since the age of 18. But if you already hold silver in your hands, you mentioned the mining stocks. You actually think for a trade, the mining stocks for someone who already has physical metal, that you'd rather see them going into the mining stocks than in, say, SLV?
Absolutely. You get the better leverage than you do in the metal itself, unless you use some kind of leveraged ETF for futures, which is most people don't belong in. Mining shares you can buy and hold, and there's great opportunity there because they're so beat up, so undervalued, and so few people are willing to invest in that. And that's what you want. You want to invest when basically no one else does. I mean, when I started the website, silver-investor.com, I had very little traffic. No one was interested in buying at the bottom. Of course, smart money was. Warren Buffett was buying at the bottom. Bill Gates was buying at the bottom. George Soros was buying at the bottom. The billionaires were buying the poor man's gold. But outside of myself and those three, very few were. I'm being a bit funny, but it's also true. And so now once you get this kind of momentum players, the people that are looking at the market see silver above 30, they're more apt to buy. There'll be more silver sold above 30 than there ever was sold between 5 and 30. Because what happens in these markets is people like to follow the herd, and they'll come in, and as the dollar deteriorates and things unravel further, there's really no other place to go. People will be exiting the dollar and standard investments and looking for the precious metals.
David Morgan, ladies and gentlemen. David, it's always a pleasure.
Alan, thank you so much.
Thank you.